Hello. I am back. My internet has been sketchy all week long. I don't know what this is about. I'm gonna need Xfinity to get it together. I'll wait till some more people come on. Hello. Hi. How are you? Hey. How is your day going? So we're gonna get into the conversation. My internet was a little sketchy. You said great. I'm glad you're having a great day. I'm gonna actually have to call you when I get off of this because I've been thinking about you. But today's conversation is situationships, and how do people find themselves into these type of relationships is because they're allowing other people to control the narrative. So a lot of times, people think that it takes like so many things to happen for someone to commit. Like this person has to have the right income, or I have to have the right income, or I have to just have this or that or the other. And that's not necessarily true. When people are ready to be in a relationship, they'll do it. Men will do it when they're ready. So there are some men that have said, no, I gotta have my ducks in a row. I've heard my male friends say that before I get in a relationship with such and such, I gotta have my ducks in a row. And I've known other men that's like, nah, I'm not gonna let this opportunity pass me by, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. But for some people, they'll say, oh, it's not the right time, but I want to continue, being friends. And then that is how people wind up in situations, because they don't cut that person off when they say that. They keep going as if it might change into something else. Hello. And a lot of the times those things do not change into something else. It's still a friendship, just with the benefit. And, the other person is expecting that person to just change by osmosis. They're like, oh, maybe eventually she or he will start, liking me or valuing me. Maybe they'll change their mind. That's not true. A lot of times women do this to themselves, though. And I'll say that because I've had conversation with women who are in these situationships. And like this one young lady, she had to be like maybe 23, 24. She didn't tell me her age, but talking to her, she seemed really young. But she was saying that she doesn't understand why guys won't commit to her. And she's like, I'm a good woman, I'm in school, I'm doing this and doing that. And I'm just like, the guy that's for you will commit. Like, you don't have to go through no extra hoops, no extra tricks, no nothing. He will. But I was asking her, like, what is the conversation that you are having with these guys? Like, how do you talk to these guys? What are you all talking about? And she was like, oh, we hang out, and then I'm thinking that it's gonna lead to something else more. And I'm like, okay, so when you all hang out, like, what's the hangout? Are you hanging out in a public place? Or are you hanging out at your house or his house? And she's like, oh, you know, sometimes we go out, but for the most part, we're at my place. I'm like, girl, no. that is all that's on his brain, is trying to sleep with you, and you're not going outside of, you know, the house or outside of the bedroom, and then you're allowing this without him saying specifically what it is that he wants. And so without that definite, you're allowing this situation to linger on without understanding what it is he wants. And I asked her, like, okay, so what is he saying? Like, what is this guy that you're talking to now? Well, like, what is he saying? And she was like, oh, well, he's just like, you know, I like things how they are. And I said, well, that means he don't want to commit. That means that he wants to, you know, explore his options and do his own thing. And she was like, what? I said, yeah, those are code words for he ain't trying to commit. He trying to be out here in these streets. And she couldn't understand why. She's like, well, I'm a good woman. I said, it has nothing to do with that, and everything to do with what it is he wants to do. So there are women that go through that. A lot of women go through that I know. And there are men that I have known to go through that too, where they're looking for the woman to take things to the next level. He's already expressed his interest. He's already, you know, told her what he's wanted, but then she's keeping him in this waiting period, a friend zone period. It's because she's still, hello, trying to explore her options as well. So people wind up in situationships because they are not paying attention to what's really going on. They're not listening to the other person and what they're saying. When that person is saying, you know what, I just want to take things slow, or I just, you know, got to get all these things together before I get with this person or get with you. Or sometimes they don't even say they want to get with you. They just want to, they're like, oh, I just want to, you know, I want a relationship, but not at the moment. And then it makes that person think that man wants something more eventually, but that's not the case. If he doesn't say it flat out, that ain't what it is. So the same thing with women. When women are like dancing around the relationship pond, you know, but not really going all the way in, it's because they not ready. You said that part. A lot of times, I'm going to just say, I've had conversations with a lot of women that have missed the signs. And I'm going to just right now talk from what I have said to other women and what the conversations have been, where they really think that a man is eventually going to change his mind. And I'm like, no, if he didn't say it, it ain't changing. You're not going to make him change his mind. You're not going to cook all the good meals in the world and he's going to change his mind. You're just going to be cooking and nothing's going to come out of it. You're just going to be sleeping with him. Ain't nothing going to come out of it. You're going to be doing all of these girlfriend, wifely things and there's nothing coming out of it. And then some people wind up in these situations for years where the man has not committed, and it's like 10, 20 years later and they still doing the same song and dance. And it's like from that, now they had kids, or from that, you know, it's all types of other things, but he still has not committed to this woman. And I'm like, sis, come on, man. Like, if he didn't say it, that's not what it is. If he's not showing you, he's not making plans, you know, he's just coming over your house and that's it. Like the young lady that I was talking about before, this was a conversation actually back in the summer that I was having with this young lady. And when she was talking about the guy who, well, she was dating back to back, trying to see if it was going to evolve into a relationship. But the guy that she was actually talking to, she was trying to figure out why he wouldn't commit and what was going on, like what was wrong with her. And I'm like, well, he ain't ready. Like, that ain't what he want to do. He want to rip and run the streets. But like, for her, she couldn't understand, and she kept asking me like, well, what is that I'm doing? What is, and I'm like, it don't have nothing to do with anything, but you're going to keep doing this stuff, and you're going to look up, and it's going to be, 10 years later, you still going to be in the same situation, and he's not going to commit. You can't make somebody commit to you. And she's like, well, we do this together. We spend a lot of time together. I'm like, but you're spending time, from what she told me. They spend a lot of time in the house. So if he's spending a lot of time with you in the house and he's not making dates, like plans for anything else, then there's nothing more that he wants. And then when you stop giving it to him, all he's going to do is start talking to somebody else. So now you're not going to see him. And that was the other part. She was saying that he was starting to ghost her. And so I'm like, because he's getting it somewhere else. She like, oh. I'm like, girl. So in my mind, I'm like, where's her parents? Why ain't her parents telling her this? She ain't got nobody around her to tell her this information, but I guess not. This is what this platform is about, having these real conversations. But there are a lot of people that are in situationships and they're not willing to admit that that's what it is. If there is no dating that's actually happening, men are usually upfront with their intentions. Like when they know that they want to be with somebody, they are going to move heaven and earth to be with that person. I don't care what's going on. Like they're going to be like, okay, when we going out, what we doing, what's going on? Like they are really going to try to make plans. Like they want to spend time with you. They want to be like, for lack of a better description, almost like the center of your world. Like they want to be in your space, be in your face, be around you. Whatever it is that you want to do, they down to do it. Most of them. I haven't experienced a man that's like resistant to anything else, but yeah, they are very blunt about what they want. A man that's willing and ready to move forward in a relationship is putting in all the time, the effort, and everything in the world, so you don't ever have to wonder what is going on. And I don't understand why women don't understand that part, why it is always that they think that there has to be some type of gray area, but it really doesn't, because it's like either he is or he isn't. And if he isn't, then that should be fine. The problem is people are not fine with the outcome of whatever it is. I know that it might sound a little cruel to say that or hurtful, but you know the reality of the situation. He know the reality of the situation. You just don't want to admit that's what it is, and then you only hurting yourself. If it's a man, because there are men that go through this too, you only hurting yourself. So be with somebody that wants to be with you. I don't know why that's so hard. I don't know. The person that's most interested in you, and there are people that have these people around them or have experienced these people that are interested in them. The people that are actually like, okay, let's do this together. The text messages, good morning, beautiful. Good morning, handsome. It's always some type of communication. There's always some type of plan to see one another. If you all are meeting up, maybe you're meeting up in the day for coffee because you all are busy. Maybe you're going on, lunch dates or whatever. maybe, you know, Saturday you all might, you know, go to the museum or something, but there's always some type of plan to be in one another's space, and men are good for initiating that when they want to be with you. So I want women to understand that when you are allowing a man to string you along by saying, oh, well, you know, I really don't want anything at the moment, or I like how things are going, or can we be friends and just see where that goes? That's usually because he want to be for the streets, or he is for the streets. Like he want to be out here and play. So let him go play, because it's plenty of guys that will show their interest. But the issue is, okay, and there's women that will say, oh, well, you know, I don't have the chemistry that I have with him, or, you know, I don't have a connection with this person that I have with him, or, you know, maybe you think you don't want to start over, but technically you starting over because nothing has started. All those different things. Like, so I think in order to minimize your own hurt, you should find people that are really interested in you. And then on the flip side, there are some women that will say, well, you know, I don't like all that extra stuff. Like, if he's showing interest, and say you really not feeling him, because there are women that be like, I ain't feeling him like that, but rather deal with the situationship. But the guy that's actually feeling them, they'll be like, nah, that's okay, I'm cool. He's doing too much. That's the one you need to be paying attention to, because that's the one that's going to show you and continue to show you that he's interested. That's actually going to make plans for you all. That's actually going to put in the effort. Like, you want somebody that's going to put in the effort. You want somebody that you're not going to have to do all of these extra tricks to be with. Like, child, I don't know. People make stuff more complicated than what it has to be. Just like the person that likes you. And then the other side to this is that you have women who think that they have to do like a whole bunch of stuff in order to pull a man. It's not the case. Because there are men that like different types of things, different type of women. You have men that like women that are really skinny, really short, thick, you know, curvaceous, whatever, all different body types. If you're, because there are men who like different things. It's like there's not one type of man out there, but the issue is that women are looking at what's going on in the social media streets and thinking, which I've had several conversations about that, and thinking that they have to appeal to a man in that way when they actually don't have to. There are men that will like you exactly the way that you are and won't want you to change. You know, maybe if you become, let's just say you want to get your health in order, that part. Or let's just say you want to make a few adjustments to your look, that part. But he's not going to say undergo, you know, a whole bunch of surgery to look like somebody else if he really is for you. He ain't finna do that. Because he wants you the way that you are. So I don't know why women don't understand that part. But these are conversations that need to be had, because you don't have to do all of those different things in order to be loved or to be appreciated or to be in a committed relationship, the guy is going to like you for you. That's it. Nothing more. But then you're tying up your time with the situationship that you don't have time to free yourself to see that there's somebody else out there that likes you for who you are. Why are you too busy in your mind creating all of these different scenarios of what things could be or should be? There's somebody that'll give it to you, but you gotta realize that they'll give it to you. He said that part again, that part in that order. Exactly. So I just wanted to come on here and say that because there are a lot of people out here landing in these types of situations, and it's really unnecessary because the person that's out there, first off, the person that's for you is out there. You just have to know that you will find that person and let go of dead weight. We're going into a new year. Why not start off the new year fresh with a clear mind, clear conscience? Free up your time to, really maybe work on yourself. Find out the things that you like. There was some things that I was doing, even when I was I'm in a relationship now, but even when I was engaged, that's what I was about to say. When I was engaged and before, I would take myself out on dates. Now, because of the COVID streets, I don't be wanting to go out like that. I'll go get coffee and stuff like that. But I used to actually take myself to the show, go just to different places by myself. And it's fine. It's like people would look like, okay, that's a little weird. I would take myself to dinner. Now I still do that part. I have moments where I do it, but it's not like it was before because COVID still out in these streets. So I take my dinner to go. But before, I would actually go to a nice restaurant, whatever it was, get wine and, order somebody else is coming, but they not, you know what I mean? And just enjoy myself. I used to enjoy just sitting there and having time to think about things. Sometimes I'll bring my laptop and start jotting down things that I want to do and all of that kind of stuff. Sometimes you have to do that. And be comfortable with you, because before you get in a relationship, you have to have your mind together. You have to have your spirit together. And when you are dealing with someone, and I'm going to just say, when you're dealing with someone that has you in situationship space, they really don't have you there. You're there willingly because they a lot of times have told you what they wanted, or you figured it out. You just still going with it. But when you're in that unknown territory, it's a spirit crusher. You're actually messing with your own emotions, your own spirit. You're allowing yourself to be manipulated and to be used. So when you go through that, you can't see and are not available to somebody that is willing to give you all of the things that you want. I've had these conversations actually on live before. Go to my YouTube channel, Crown Convos with Tiana and Michelle, and you will see these. I've had these conversations before, but you have to get yourself in order spiritually, get your mind together, because you don't want, when that person comes along, you don't want to be so damaged that you mess them up. or you mess it up. Like, you want to have it all together. You want to be able to be open to love, to be free to love, and stop all this silly nonsense with these situations, because that person is not coming around no time soon. Stop getting your hopes up. Stop, praying and hoping and wishing that person gonna do something different, because they not. Face what it is so you can move on and be with the person that's for you. I don't know why that is so hard. I don't know. Making it more complicated than what it has to be. Because at the end of the day, to me, love is an action. And people will show you with their actions. And their actions will align with their words. So when you are, when you are seeing that those things don't align, then you got to remove yourself from the situation. The same thing that I'm saying to women, I would say the same thing to men, because men miss it too. There are men who will keep going with something knowing full well that the woman is not fully vested into the relationship, that she has one foot in, one foot out, and then now he's angry and bitter because she done decided to string him along and then go get with the next person. Or maybe she's stringing him along and then been stringing him along for years, and now he has spent his money, because there are guys that have done that, where they have spent their money on a lot of dates. I ain't gonna say millions, but a lot of dates. They have, done all of these things, gone out of their way to make sure that this woman is good, and then she hasn't invested at all. She hasn't said that she was going to be with him or commit to him, and now this man comes out damaged. That's ends up happening. That men get damaged, and then they start damaging other women because that one woman did what she did. So now that man will base all of the women that he comes in contact with based off of that one woman, or he'll be playing because he doesn't trust enough to get into anything seriously. But all in all, it's still bad. It's like, it's still landing people in the space of confusion, not knowing what's what, and then everybody's damaged in the end. So hurt people, right? I'm just gonna say this. Figure out what it is that one is going on. If you have not had the conversation and you're talking to somebody that's relatively new, and you're kind of in that gray area, have a conversation instead of allowing it to play out 6 months down the road, and then, or a year down the road, and then you got a rude awakening because it ain't what you thought it was. You can save yourself a lot of time, money, and energy by finding that out. But have the actual conversation so that you can know how to maneuver and then actually make the move. Like, if he ain't talking about nothing serious or with you, and that's the key part. Just because he says he wants a relationship, he has to specifically say that he wants it with you. If there are no us, you and I statements, you and I, us, we statements together, then you already know what it is. If he's saying he wants a relationship, okay. Is he showing you that that's what he wants? Is there an us, we? You gotta do that anytime. And I'm gonna say this as homework, actually. If you are, or suspect that you are in a situationship, which you know, but have the conversation and find out. And if there's no we, no us, no together type sentences that he has flowing out of his mouth freely without you coaching him, then there's no we, us together. Same thing for men. I'm going to say the same thing goes for men. If there's no we, us statements, then there's nothing going on. And stop allowing yourself to be put in these boxes, these types of situations, because you only hurting yourself. That's really what it is. You allowing yourself to be abused, used, only to hurt yourself. Because it feels good for a hot second, I guess, to have that companionship. But at the end of the day, if it ain't going no further than just whatever you all are doing, and it's not a relationship, then it's pointless, because it's not going nowhere. And then this is the other part, once they are children, because a lot of children are born out of situationships because you all are sleeping together. And then now you have baby mama, baby daddy issues because you all were never in a relationship, didn't get the time to actually know each other, and then winded up creating a tiny human being out of something that was just supposed to be fun or, momentary pleasure. And then now you have whole lives that you got to try to figure out how to raise. And a lot of times this is why there's so much confusion, because one person has feelings that the other person doesn't have, or one person feels like they should be, there should be something else going on, and the other person is feeling like that's not the case. And now the child is caught in the middle of all that nonsense. And I'm going to say this. I think that when it comes to situationships, and to me, women have the power to control certain aspects that they don't. Because if you know that that man is wanting to sleep with you and you're not getting anything out of it, cut it off. But I also think that men have the power to cut things off if necessary, but they won't. A lot of men won't do it. But I think that it should be done, because it will prevent a lot of things from happening down the road. If a man says, you know what, if you're thinking that we are supposed to be together and I'm telling you that this is not what I want, you know what, this is not gonna work. I don't know why men don't do that. They really should. They would cut out a lot of stuff, but they don't, because a lot of men like playtime. They like playtime. That's just what it boils down to. But as women, we're the ones that have to bear the children if a child comes out of that. And I need my women to actually think about that. You have to bear children if a child comes out of that. A lot of times you're the one that's emotionally connected and invested, and you have the most to lose. So you should start looking out for yourself in those situations and saying, you know what, if this is not something that he wants, then I'm just going to exit, instead of let me keep going, create life, do this, do that, and then wind up acting a fool and out of my mind because this person don't want to be with me, or saying, you know what it was, or you know what it is, and we should be together, and you already know I had feelings. Like, no, he already told you what it is. So sis, why you just didn't exit when you had the chance? Now you the one that's gotta raise a child because you birthed that child, even though the father should be doing what he's supposed to do. A lot of the times it's not the case because you're the one that carried the baby. So you're going to bear the brunt of the responsibility. But if you think about that beforehand, it will prevent a lot of situations from happening. Now, unless you just a person that just wants a kid and don't care, then that's one thing. But most women are not like that. They're like, they want the man. And that's when the whole baby mama drama situation comes into play, because you are saying, I want the relationship at any cost, and now you want to play with the kid, basically. Oh, you can't see your daddy because your daddy doing this, or whatever the case may be, which is not right. I talked about that in another video, so that's also on my YouTube channel. But let's just normalize healthy relationships. Like, I feel like this year and last year has been enough for everybody not to go back to situationships, like not to have any more emotional stress than necessary. So going into the new year, how about assessing what it is that you want in life? If you want a husband, you know that situationship is not going to lead to a husband, so let that ride, sis. If you want a wife and she like that lady dancing around, you know, what you want, she not saying, okay, you know, let's do this or whatever, and she just taking, leave sis right where she is, because you don't need that. Because the wife that's for you is going to commit. The one that's for you is going to commit. So in the new year, and I'm actually putting together this affirmations book, but I'm also putting together a dating book. Okay. And just giving some tips and pointers on certain things that you should do, shouldn't do, things that you should look out for. I am putting that together so that you all can find love in these streets and stop putting up with nonsense. Because I've had a lot of younger people that I have talked to and that have asked me for advice, and they dealing with nonsense. And I'm like, you ain't got to deal with that. And they're out here thinking that this is the only person for them. Like, this is the only... It's so many fish in the sea. I don't care what nobody talking about. How they say, oh, it's a shortage of men or whatever. I don't believe it. Don't believe it. A lot of stuff is mental. You wind up, the stuff that come out of your mouth is what you wind up getting. Be careful with your words, because it's not a shortage. There are plenty of guys out here that will, you know, not string you along and have you in situationships, but you gotta know that they're out there, and you don't have to do all of these extra tricks to get that person. Like, but you gotta have your own. And for someone who feels like that, there's something going on with your confidence. So I would suggest that in the new year to work on your confidence, to work on affirming yourself. The affirmations guide will be up at the affirmations guide will actually be available on Saturday morning. You will be able to click the link in my bio and be able to get the affirmations guide. The other book that I wrote is in there, and that is to change your mindset. So I feel like that is what is necessary in order to get the things that you're trying to get to. And focus on those things. Focus on the person that you want. Write that stuff out. Write out what you want in your life. Write out what you want it to look like. What you want your life to... It should be so clear to you what you want in life that you should be able to smell it. Like, if someone was to ask you, okay, what do you want to do with your life? Or what is it that you want? You would be able to say it. Even down to the type of guy that you want. And not talking to materialistic things, because that has nothing to do with anything. But the real stuff. And then finding out who you are. Because if a guy there... Now, here's the other part. And I did talk about this before. If a guy asks you what your interests are, you should be able to spill them out. So you need to... If you can't do that, you need to find out what it is that you like. You need to discover it yourself. And that will actually help you not to be into situationships, or not allowing yourself to be in situationships. And that's a lot of the times what it is. Self-discovery that you haven't done yet, that allows you to put yourself in those predicaments to be in those types of relationships. So my tips for you is to find out what it is that you like. Find out, what it is that you need from someone. What it is that you want out of life. And then work on your confidence. Work on those things that might bother you about yourself. And you gotta do the work. Like, there's no way around that. Loving on yourself is really necessary, especially when you are dealing with situationships, because they are real self-esteem killer. So while you're in this place and space, work on you. Get you together. You want to be more beautiful. Figure out what that looks like for you. I'm not saying undergo anything extreme. I'm saying, start pampering yourself a little bit. Start maybe getting your nails done, get your hair done, put on a little makeup, and just go out. Take yourself out. Do things that make you feel good. And then you got to do affirmations. If you don't, because every day you may not feel like you had a confidence or the ability to say, hey, I look like this, or I feel like this. So do some affirmations, which will be available on Saturday. You just have to click the link in my bio for that. It will be available Saturday morning. And do your affirmations. The affirmations guide will have affirmations on money, on success, on health, things of that nature. So, and it's a real self-esteem builder. There's actually I'm gonna be working on a bundle as well that will also have some other things that I'll tell you about at a later date. But the affirmation guide will be available on Saturday, so you'll be able to get that. But as far as we going into a new year, it's time to do something different. It's time to fall in love with you, and if you want someone, if you're looking for companionship, it's out there. You don't have to settle for somebody that's not sure about you. Not at all. Especially not after all of the stuff that we done been through, that you probably done got through. You know, you don't have time for that. You do not have time to be sitting here wondering whether or not somebody is going to love you properly, or, you know, he got you in limbo. You ain't got time for none of that. Love on you. Get you together. Get real cute, you know. And that person that is for you will do all of those things. The conversation that I had 2 weeks ago, I actually will put a snippet up there because there was a young lady that asked for some advice, and I actually told her the same thing. The person that's for you will love you without none of that extra stuff. You don't have to do nothing extra. You don't have to wonder, and their actions and words line up. So let's get out of these situationships that you done put yourself in. Exit stage left. Do what you need to do to get your confidence back, baby girl or baby boy. And know that the person that's for you is out there. So with that, that is my time. I'm about to go. Got a few things to do. So I will see you all next week, same time. And I want you all to have a good weekend. Bye.